Spider-Man, brand new. Day ends with one word that should be impossible. Peter Ned looks at a man the whole world was forced to forget, completes a handshake he should not know, and suddenly says Peter's name. So did Doctor Strange's spell break. Did Ned recover every memory, or did years of friendship leave behind something even magic could not erase? And the answer becomes stranger when the post-credit scene tracks Spider-Man beyond Earth. So let's break down the real ending, Peter's new powers, and what that signal may mean. Major spoilers begin now. Before we move ahead, if you're enjoying the video so far, and you like understanding the psychology hidden behind movie characters, make sure to like the video, subscribe to channel, and share it with a friend who enjoys this kind of content. Also, comment below and tell me your favorite part of the video so far. The final act starts when Peter discovers that the mysterious telepath is Jean Grey. Jean has been possessing people while searching for her sister Sarah, who was captured and experimented on by Damage Control. For most of the film, Jean believes VMAX points to a secret device, but VMAX actually comes from the damaged VentMax label above Sarah's cell, the last thing Sarah could see before she died, and the final clue she sent to Jean. Once Jean understands what happened, her grief overwhelms her. Her power spreads across New York, thousands fall under her control, and Peter enters the facility while fighting another battle inside his own body. His senses become painfully intense, his strength and speed increase, organic webs come from his wrists, and under extreme pressure, his eyes turn black as his anger becomes harder to control. Peter goes to Bruce Banner and builds an inhibitor because he fears this evolution is turning him into something dangerous, but in the climax, Peter removes it. He accepts the mutation, fights through the people. Jean controls and reaches her. Yet Peter does not defeat Jean with greater strength. Jean enters his mind and finds a memory of Aunt May, accepting Peter, even when his powers frightened him. Peter shares that memory and shows Jean that losing someone does not mean she has to face everything alone. Then Frank Castle takes the shot. Punisher still believes Jean is too dangerous, but Peter senses the bullet and throws himself into its path. Peter is hit protecting Jean, and Jean keeps him alive long enough for Frank to get him to a hospital. When Peter wakes, New Yorkers have gathered outside for Spider-Man Damage Control. Faces investigation, Jean leaves the city, and Peter understands that protecting people does not require him to disappear from every relationship that leads to the final Ned scene. Peter approaches Ned and introduces himself. At first, Ned sees only a stranger. Then Peter begins their old private handshake, and Ned completes it without being taught. He freezes, looks at Peter, and says his name. The movie cuts away before confirming how much he remembers, so we cannot say every memory has returned, and we cannot say Ned already remembers that Peter is Spider-Man. What the scene confirms is recognition. The handshake awakens something the spell did not completely remove, whether it is muscle memory, emotional memory, or the first crack in Doctor Strange's magic. MJ's situation remains uncertain because the film never clearly shows her recovering their relationship. Then comes the post-credit scene. There is no mid-credit scene, only one short moment at the very end. Ned's Spidey tracker detects Spider-Man in New York, but the signal moves away from the city, away from Earth, and appears somewhere in deep space. The movie does not reveal who the tracker found or where that signal is. The strongest theory is that this prepares Peter for Avengers, Doomsday or Secret Wars, possibly Battleworld Venom, another Spider-Man variant, Tobey Maguire, and Miles Morales are only theories. The safe conclusion is that Spider-Man's next journey may take him far beyond New York, but the real meaning of the ending is not hidden in space, it is hidden in Peter's body. For most of Brand New Day, Peter divides himself into two people. Spider-Man is allowed to exist because New York needs him. Peter Parker is not allowed to exist because Peter believes loving anyone will place them in danger. He calls this sacrifice, but his body experiences it as pressure. The stronger his isolation becomes, the more uncontrollable his powers become. His heightened senses, rage, black eyes, and organic webs are not only new abilities, they express an identity suppressed for too long. Jean is Peter's psychological mirror. She also carries grief alone and becomes destructive when pain replaces connection. Peter saves Jean by giving her the truth he has refused to accept himself. You do not heal by erasing every relationship that can hurt you. You heal by allowing someone to remain beside you while the pain exists. That lesson returns to Peter from every direction. Jean keeps him alive. Frank carries him to safety. New York waits outside the hospital, and Ned remembers a movement his conscious mind was supposed to have lost. Maybe Doctor Strange's spell erased names, faces, and facts, but the ending suggests genuine connection can create patterns deeper than conscious memory. Ned recognizes Peter because for 1 second their friendship moves through him naturally. Peter spent years believing the safest version of himself was the version nobody knew. But Ned saying his name proves Peter Parker was never completely gone. And that is the unseen pattern at the center of Spider-Man. Brand new day.